excited. Good evening. How is everyone tonight?
Absolutely fantabulous.
Great.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. This energy, I don't know what I'm gonna do tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to contain myself. I love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick us off. Good evening, good evening. Welcome to another session of the Women Leaders Walk the Talk, sponsored by the Greater You Leadership series. And I am Christin Webb, your leadership enthusiast. And I call myself that because I love all things leadership. And I love that I get a chance to bring on women and talk leadership. So as you can see, we have entered the holiday season and I could not pass up the opportunity to be festive for the night and wear my ugly Christmas sweater. So I wanted to point that out. Even though I don't really think it's that ugly, I think it's kind of
ugly. That's what I was gonna say, it's not ugly.
So I did not understand the assignment then if I didn't go really get an ugly sweater. So why is Women Leaders Walk the Talk even in existence? To my newbies that have never come on and joined us, it's simple. It's the opportunity to be able to amplify the voices of women leaders and to help connect, to help collaborate and empower women leaders from all backgrounds as they travel their individual journeys of leadership. We do this through our bold discussions, which we're going to have tonight, and some fun ones as well, and informative discovery and sharing. Women leaders' voices cannot be muted. Our voices cannot be muted, and we must be elevated in every space possible. So the Greater You Leadership series is doing our part by hosting this platform. This is how we are contributing to that and hopefully amplifying voices. So whenever I bring guests on, I seriously consider the impact and the expertise of each of the panelists. Every time I end up with amazing slate of women who have taken different paths, but have all landed in the position to be able to offer insight on what it means to be a woman, to be powerful, to be transformational, and more. And tonight is no different, ladies. Tonight is no different, audience. So to bring in the holiday cheer, tonight's session is all about entertainment. And when you think about the holidays, it is one of the more pointed times of the year where people engage with all types of entertainment, right? We're going to concerts, we're watching our must-watch movies, our favorite movies, playing our favorite music, cheering on our favorite sports teams, or even dancing the night away. Entertainment creates so many memories. And this time of year, we tend to find ourselves doing a lot of that. So I wanted us to embrace that spirit and bring on you ladies tonight. I want to bring on women leaders who represented the corners of entertainment industry. But not only that, not only represent their respective spaces, but you also lead in ways that demand for excellence in all that you touch. So I have done my research and I know that I can just put a stamp on this statement, right?
Yes,
everything you touch is excellence, right? So when you leave us tonight, audience, I want you to not only be inspired, refreshed, and refueled as you continue your leadership journey, but we also want you to be lifted with cheer to continue enjoying your holiday spirit through entertainment. All right, without further ado, I introduce our insanely talented panelists for tonight. We have Angie with Angie Music. She is a musically talented artist with more than 20 years experience in various capacities in the music industry, to include former artist with Atlanta Records, professional songwriter, independent talent development and management, and vocal coach. And I am biased, she is my sister. So welcome to the platform, Angie.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So glad to be here.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you. Abby Woods is the co-founder and chief creative officer with Quartermain Media. Hello, Abby. Quartermain Media is a production agency specializing in developing, producing, and amplifying diverse voices. So this is the perfect platform for you to be on, Abby. Thank you for joining us. Her latest project includes the producer of the 2021 BET Network's 20s After Show with B. Scott, one of Lena Waithe Hillman grad productions. And I must be honest, I am a fan. I have to watch my 20s and then I have to sit and watch the after show after so it can bring it all together. So we are so glad to have you, Abby. Thank you for joining. Awesome. And then last but not least, orchestrating and creating dance imagery for the Memphis Grizzlies, we have Terran Noir with Subroy Studios that equips dancers with skills and knowledge to have a successful dance career in a highly competitive dance industry. So hello, how are you tonight?
Hello, everybody.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm so glad to have each of you. Tonight, we want to hear from each of you ladies. We want to learn from you ladies. And we want to know that we hear your voice. So here we are. I'm going to start with the questions. Are we ready? From a drum roll. Like a little drummer boy drum roll. All right. I always like to ask the one word question. I sometimes call it 5 seconds, but this time I'm going to go with one word. Before we really start to deep dive, I need a quick answer for a quick question. One word. How would you describe leadership? That's the question. How would you describe leadership? One word.
Resonating.
Service.
Impacting.
And impacting. So in choosing those words, would you say that they represent like a major way that you lead?
Yes.
And how? Maybe elaborating on how.
Who wants to go first? Because I'm ready for
Yeah,
that.
Come on.
yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go first. Yeah, so I said service because I find that the best leaders help other people to lead. I always like to tell people, I jokingly with ego say, I'm like Shaq in his prime, because if you know Shaquille O'Neal's story, every like team that he landed on in his prime, there were these new players that you never really heard of that were all of a sudden they were amazing and outstanding. Well, I think it's because of Shaq more so than them, and he helped people to play better. And I feel like that is like a service, and in that he won and they won, and the team, like everything, the city won, and the NBA won. So I hate to use a sports, snatch that sports reference from you, Terran, but
It is what it is, though, and that means we're just going to reiterate it, and the person that's supposed to get it is going to get it. We're here in service.
Yeah, so I feel that's where I get my definition, but I let everybody else chime in too.
Love it, love it.
Can I come on her heels because they so eloquently relate to one another? The reason I use resonate is because it's going to ripple out, whether it's good leadership or bad leadership. And for me, good leadership ripples out because you cannot and should not stay in that space forever. And you should always be in service to creating more leaders so that the environment around you is an environment of leadership.
Agreed. Those are great. What about you, Ann? You said impact.
Yes, I use that word because in the ways that I feel like I've been a leader, it's leading for me is more about the thing, the function, the purpose than the leader. And in entertainment, it so often becomes about the leader. It's easy to kind of get on your own high horse when you're in entertainment and you're making, whatever the moves are. But there, you have to develop, I think, conscientiously the attitude that there is enough for everyone. And so yeah, I think to lead with a humble heart, with a servant's heart, service, as you mentioned, to lead with a servant's heart and with a humble heart is something that not a lot of people are used to in entertainment. So I think it's impactful to come with that different aspect and just sort of to teach, or maybe not to teach, but just to be an example of that, because it's so very, very needed, especially in entertainment. So that's why I use the word impactful. I hope that my style of leading and that I observe from other people as well, with that humility, will be catching and contagious and impactful.
Yeah. I love the way you all tied it, and one builds on the other, or they're all intertwined. Like you can't really have one without the other, right? Not to be really effective at it. So the service, the resonating, to be able to create that impact. I love it. I love it. So let's talk about opposition, right? So it's often said that the entertainment industry is a man's world. So you see what angle I'm talking, right? All right. So heavily dominated by men. So with that, would you agree? And if so, how would you recommend women approach bursting through their domination?
Owning their power.
I think also realizing that there are so many barriers that have already been broken by women, whether it's women of color or women, Black women. there's already a road that's already been paved, and what you should see yourself as is almost blazing a wider trail, right? So that more people can walk the path. And so I know that, this industry is definitely dominated by men, but pretty much every industry is. And even when it's not dominated by, it's still controlled by them, by men. And so I just see it as kind of like really truly leaning on the fact that there are women in what it is that you're doing, and like honor them, recognize them. Like I would say the reason why I'm sitting here and you're talking about 20s is because Lena Waithe, an amazing woman who, most bankable producer in Hollywood, right, within our industry right now. But because of her, I can truly be standing next to her. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And
I've definitely had the experience that with the male dominated aspects of entertainment, from just studio sessions and studio engineers, producers, just the whole nine. And I think for me, it has been, the solution has been, one, create your own, create your own resources.
Yeah.
And two, know your stuff. Because, we have to acknowledge, we don't necessarily have to accept that that is what it is and just, kind of take it and roll over, but we need to acknowledge that that's what it is and stand up tall enough to overcome it. So, it's unfortunate, but it's kind of like what we have to do as Black Americans. It's like, we can say that is terribly unfair that we have to be, more excellent, but we do. We do have to be more excellent. You just have to do it until someday, one day, perhaps, if it is okay that we are, we function as everybody else. But for now, it's not that way. So we just have to stand up taller. And so I'm willing to do that as a woman in this man's industry. But yeah, and to create my own. So.
right. And I like that when you said knowing your stuff, it made me think about what you said when you said owning the power, Trend. Like, it is about owning your power, but you can only own your power when you understand your stuff, when you know your stuff, when you're solid.
Yeah.
So I love that. Y'all just keep tying it all together. I love it. I love it. I always say success is inclusive of strategy. Anybody who talks to me long enough in my day job, in my night job, it doesn't matter when you find me, I'm talking about strategy. How are we getting it done? What's the plan? How are we strategically getting to success? And so a clear yet comprehensive plan or strategy to get to the core of your heart is important. Like, how do we get to our goals? How would you advise aspiring creatives, or even maybe not even aspiring creatives, maybe some that have just, been doing it for a little while in the entertainment industry, to approach entering or breaking barriers and setting standards for being in the industry? What strategy would you recommend?
I think you have to start with exactly what comes organically to you. And once you perfect what comes organically to you, and you match that with the confidence that it's going to take to stand on that and stand for those things that come organically to you, then you make sure that there's somewhere where you plug that into the industry, whether it's something that's already being done and you're doing it differently or better, or if it's something that has a new placement that you find, how they say, make your own magic, you find a way. But I think the first step as far as a strategy is concerned is, don't try to put yourself into something just because you like it. You really got to find out where you will be of service to that thing. And you cannot, I don't think you should go into an environment or an industry because you admire what somebody else is doing, because sometimes we go in and we end up stressing ourselves out trying to recreate someone else's strategy or recreate someone else's standing in a particular place. So I think you have to first know thyself. You have to know what it is you're even bringing to the table, and then go figure out where there's room for you at that table. And I think you strategize from there. And I think that every environment is going to be different. The people involved are going to be different. The politics involved is going to be different. And all of those things are going to sway in a way that you are going to have to stay steady. And the only way you can stay steady and stand on what you have is if you know what you have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you say that organicness is also maybe tied to purpose?
Absolutely. I think that goes back to something we say cliche, but it's real. It's God's gift. God has gifted each and every one of us. And a lot of times we miss our individual gift because we're admiring somebody else's.
Okay.
I want to piggyback off of that. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. What you're saying is so awesome. And, you know, when you asked that question, Kristen, what I was thinking was, you know, the strategy is one thing. And I think that really, truly, and I can only say this like kind of being on the side of something spectacular that happened, right? Everybody gets to tune in on Wednesdays at 10:30 on BET and watch the show, but they didn't see the rehearsals. They didn't see the crazy that goes on behind the scenes. And so I would encourage you to, yes, the true holy, I would, or the what's on the cutting room floor. You're only seeing, you know, really 22 minutes. You know, with the commercials, it ends up being 30, but you're seeing 22 minutes of a lot of people and time, energy, and effort. And so what I would like to encourage creatives to do is to find joy in the process. Find your joy in the process, because you don't even realize the end is one thing, right? But this, like you're saying, the strategy and the pulling the pieces together, there's a process involved with that. And if you're not enjoying that, it will show up in the end result and how you execute. And so I think that's with entertainment. Like, okay, you're an amazing singer, you're an amazing dancer, you're an amazing producer even. Okay, but if you're not enjoying the time, energy, effort, the calls that no one's going to find out about, you know, talking to the attorneys, which is so annoying to me, you know, things like that. I think that, or the money, dealing with the budget. I mean, you have to figure your way to enjoy that process. And then all the other pieces, I just want to say, and just know that God sees you with that, because of that purpose, that because of that gift that God has given you.
Absolutely. All that is so beautiful. Y'all don't even want to see the amount of notes I have so far. And
in terms of strategy, I would say make decisions and own them. I've had to make decisions about the next move, looking at a big picture and knowing that it's a long journey. It's not, you know, just this, it's not the, what's the saying? It's a marathon, not a race, right? So sometimes you have to make a decision that's going to help you in the marathon. And once you make that decision, it's not necessarily perfect, because your goal is something else, but there's this, you know, this position you have to be in, or that you need to be in, or that it's strategic for you to be in for a time. And once you make that decision, you need to remind yourself, this is the move to the next move, to the next move. I own this. I'm not mad about this. I'm not mad that I'm, you know, because it's a move, and we're playing the game. So I think, you know, making those decisions, owning those decisions, reminding yourself of where you were before that, you know, and the distance that you've gone. And I know that everyone doesn't subscribe to this, but for me personally, and for those who do, praying a lot, and having faith that whether you know the next move or not, pray about the door that will be open and the door that will be closed, and then just rest that is that. When the door is closed, don't lose it, because that might be perfect. That might be the most wonderful thing. And you thought with all your heart, that was the door you needed to walk through. And God knows, not necessarily so. You were wrong about that other thing, and you're wrong about this one too. So yeah, those are, I think, the main things that I would say in terms of strategy. So.
I love it. I said we were gonna have some bold discussions tonight. I did not say y'all was gonna step on my toes, because y'all.
Can I add something?
Come on.
Can I add something
Yeah.
to what Angie said? Because a lot of times people hear things differently. That takes poise. And that needs to be a part of your strategy, is that you have poise in your process. Just like Abby said, enjoy the process. You have to be calm. And a lot of times you have to wait until your maturity matches up to be able to have that poise. A lot of times we want it when we're young and we're racing in the spirit of youth. And then you realize that none of it is a race when you're tapping into that gift that God has given you. So we really got to add poise to that strategy.
Y'all about to make me shut down this Facebook Live. I'm full from what y'all have just said. I mean, I'm not in entertainment, but I guess that's why I love this platform, because while we may focus on a certain industry, certain topic, it's so applicable across the board, right? Regardless of the industry. So y'all have really stepped on my toes tonight. In all the best ways, right? In all the best ways. So I'm gonna go right here. I'm going to tonight, and only tonight, I'm gonna quote Cardi B, okay? All right. And Cardi B,
she said only tonight.
She says, it ain't safe, it ain't safe, it ain't safe, it ain't safe, okay? And in tonight's context, let's explore risk, right? Let's consider that success is not safe. It's requiring uncomfortable and often risky moves. So in so many ways, leaders must be willing to take risks. We have to be willing to. Regardless of the doubt, regardless of the concern, regardless of even to what you all have said, you don't see the full roadmap. So in taking risk, you get to really see what the great reward is in doing that. So what is the greatest risk that you have taken today? And would you do it again or do it differently? That's what I got. That's what I got for risk. And keep in mind, it ain't safe, it ain't safe, it ain't safe, it ain't safe. Okay, that's it for the night. No more Cardi B. Anybody jump in? Yep.
I'll jump in on that one. My biggest risk so far has been relocating to Mississippi, the state of Mississippi. My mom used to call it the country of Mississippi. I'm originally from Los Angeles too, and so Los Angeles, California. And so it was a huge culture shock. But it was in this space during a pandemic that I got a call and was on a Zoom with Lena Waithe to talk about this show idea. And I say all that to say is you never know why God is telling you to move. And I'm going to use God. I'm just going to use it, right? But you got to, when God says go, you got to go. Even if it's to a place that you're like, I don't know this place. It's going to be a foreign place. I often think about just how God moves and how he made people go in the Bible. So, but it was a huge risk. But I see so much potential and I see so much opportunity, and having lower bills right now is a good thing. And I can still fly back and forth to not only Los Angeles, but as I'm looking at 2022, there's actually multiple regions that are like, oh, the production might happen in DC or Chicago or New York. And so it's like, for me, I was like, okay, well, I didn't know this was going to happen, but it's actually going to be better for me to be in a different part of the country. And also I'm excited actually to start to tell stories for people, Black people that reside in the South, and wouldn't have even known or understood or whatever. And I'm excited for it. And it was a huge risk. I still am feeling it, but I'm excited for it.
That's interesting. You and Ann should talk, because she went the opposite direction. She went south to west. And you came west to south. So I love it. I love it. But you're right. I took make the moves. Like that's what I took. Make the move blindly, eyes wide open, however, but make the move. I love it. Who's next? Who's
Grace
got
will meet you. Grace will meet you everywhere. I will say that. Grace, if you Grace will meet you.
Yes, God.
All right. Come on. Transparent spot. Risk. What we doing?
Risk?
I think yeah.
No. I'm waiting.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I think the biggest risk, I think most of my moves have been risky. So, I have a whole lot of faith now as a result of bumping my head around and just taking a whole bunch of risks. But I would say maybe the first one I took was leaving the stable working world for this career in entertainment. I had worked from the time I was, I think, 17 years old full time. So leaving that and going, okay, you know, I don't live with my mama. I don't live with, you know, we just gonna go for this. And it's been a journey ever since. I've not, you know, I mean, I've done some things like now I'm actually teaching part-time, but even that's for me, even that's on my thing. I don't work for anyone else. So it's been a mindset that was a risk, and it definitely changed everything for me. So I'm glad that I took the risk and would do it again. Yes, I would. It's not been smooth the whole time, but yes, I would still do it again.
Okay, so my risk is going to be the way I choose to answer this question.
Okay.
And I and it's gonna, I hope it's not as long-winded, but I really want to make a point, because everything that I could list as a risk, I was honestly too naive and too tapped into something that I really wasn't aware of that was guiding me to even realize that they were risks. They're only now things I can look back in hindsight and realize how risky they were. But if you've seen the movie Moana, have y'all seen Moana? You got kids in your life where you've seen Moana? You know how that water spirit was guiding her?
Yes.
And my daughter and I, we watch our movies. She's about to be 13, but we watch these movies because I feel like there's really good teaching points there. And I think I was just focused really heavily at one point, and she was like, "Why do you look like that?" And I said, "Because I've had one of those my entire life." You know, and it wasn't water, but it was definitely a guiding light. There was definitely, I don't know if we want to say it was an ancestor. But it was strong enough for me to say it was something.
Yeah.
And somebody. Yeah, I'd give it credit. You know what I mean? If the right message came to me, I'd give it credit for being somebody. But I definitely risked it all at every turn, because I made a habit of living my life on what other people and family members saw as instinct and impulse. For me, it was what felt right. And it was where my heart was content. And I could only operate within the contentness of my heart. And so everything I did was a risk. At one point, all my family was like, "You're crazy." At one point in college, all my friends like stopped talking to me because I wasn't being scholarly. But I showed up to that school where I had a dance team every day, Monday through Friday from 3 to 6. There's people in there, I'm 43. There's people in their 30s right now who saw me every day after school at their school. I always risked what else was going on with everybody else in my peer group and what was expected of me from family. But it was because there was something else guiding me that I couldn't turn my back on. It made me unhappy.
Yeah. I love that story. And what it made me think about is that our paths are not prescribed, right? Like, okay, we know that there's somebody who's already defined where we're going, right? We know that, but what your path looks like, what your path looks like, and vice versa. And I said it early on, they all look different and they're not prescribed. And so regardless of, it makes me think about regardless of what our family says, it's our vision. The glasses you have on, the glasses I have on has my prescription. It was made just for me, and we have to follow that. But my prescription is not your prescription, right? So we can't try to even translate that to others. And we do sometimes. We don't realize that we're doing that. We're trying to make our lives be somebody else's. Versus just allowing them to live life the way they see it. So that was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. So let's go in the direction of resilience. They talk
really
about
quick,
the bounce.
before you go on, come on. A wonderful man by the name of Damone Roberts posted one time, and it just stuck with me. And I want to just like put the bow on this one. He said, God didn't have a conference call. He just called you. And I have just taken hold of that. It's not a conference call. It's not about all these other people or what it is like. It's just you. And I just want to give that to you.
I love that. I love that.
Absolutely.
It really touched me.
Yeah, I love it. He did not dial up the Zoom and say, you know, let's talk about the future, Christin. I love it.
It's not a group chat.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's not a group chat, right? It's not a group chat.
Yeah.
That was beautiful though. That was a perfect bow. Perfect bow.
Yeah, thank you
Absolutely.
for sharing that. I'm
Absolutely.
visual, so that will stick with me.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I got the.
So, you know, society always pressuring us after we have a child or after we go through maybe something traumatic that we're supposed to bounce back, we're supposed to just snap back, right? And it has a way of creating opportunities where we have to sometimes take steps back or we have to learn to recover. So some may call it a comeback. What has been your comeback story so far as a leader in your journey? Nobody wants to jump in.
I know, right? I hate to. Okay, I will take.
I have to tell you, you have to be extremely vulnerable and
I'll take this.
that maybe
Oh, I've been trying to move on.
Yeah, right. I'm like,
I
oh,
want to
but
learn from you.
I will.
I don't want to go
I will
back.
take this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I'll take this one though with a smile on my face. On July 11th of this year, I lost my mother.
Oh,
And she was my greatest cheerleader, my greatest joy. I have her smile. I tell people that all the time. I have her smile so I get to see her all the time, but I have to smile in order to see her, right? But I say that to say that I don't know if I will ever truly bounce all the way back. I am learning to deal with a new me. I've had to experience a new reset that I wasn't expecting, keeping other things going. But today, actually, I shared something with my husband, James, and he's responsible for me getting to know Chris.
thanks,
Life for me, I've recognized that you will lose. Every one of us will experience a loss. We will lose. You will also gain, right? Like, so I've gained so much perspective. Again, this has only happened in June, but you will gain so much perspective about yourself, about what people wanted for you, but then what what God wants for you. But the goal is to maintain. The goal is to maintain, to show up, to smile, also to recognize that you are part of a legacy. There are a lot of people, in my opinion, there are a lot of people in heaven rooting for you. They're rooting for each of us each and every day. And they sacrificed a lot for us to be where we're at right now. And so I say all that to say, I don't know if you truly get to bounce back, but you get to evolve. And that's where I'll leave that one for me.
Right. Maybe not bouncing back, but maybe it is evolving. I like that. That's a different spin and perspective on it for sure. Yeah.
I'll jump in if I may. I think building on, I like the word evolve, because when you talk about a comeback, for me, I was an artist decades ago, I'll admit, decades.
The best ever, still, just put it out.
So I was a recording artist, and I left that part of entertainment a long time ago, and then went into production and songwriting and artist management and just a myriad of things. But with this most recent undertaking, I have a production company, and I signed an artist and got that artist on a major record label. And then while still writing songs, and there were just songs, there were things that I had to say that I felt like I could say them. I needed to say them. And they were not necessarily the most commercial things. Back when I was an artist, the goal was, how well can you hit the charts? You know, how well can you blend in with everything else that is happening? Can you be as mainstream as the next person? And it was a very safe record company executives. I mean, they have jobs to keep. So they need to be relatively safe. So you can't just say anything, just write a song about anything, especially back in the day. Now in the age of independent music, it's a lot freer, and you can pretty much write a song about anything, especially if you are your own label, which is very possible now. So I felt like at this point in my life, I wanted to be an artist again, as I don't want to say old as I am, but at my maturity level.
Season.
I decided I wanted
Seasoned. That's what I was gonna say.
Seasoned. Thank you. And me and my seasoned self decided I wanted to be an artist again. Now I know that I am no longer in the stereotypical artist, but in this age of independent music, that's fine. That's actually perfect. And now it's not about me wanting to be on the charts and have the hottest song in the country. It's about me actually wanting to say something, actually wanting to be creative, actually wanting to reach some people who want to hear a message that I have. So it's really been, like she said, an evolution of what I thought I was setting out to be, you know, of the kind of artist that I was and have become. So so that is definitely a major comeback for me. It's going well, and people are receiving it very, very well. And it doesn't have to do with the things that you would think of when you think recording artist. And it's awesome. It's a great feeling. And I feel like I'm doing what God is asking me to do. And that's very different from my goals back in the day. So it's definitely been an evolution and what I feel like is a comeback.
I'm changing my question up next time I ask it. I'm saying evolution. You are, I mean, because that's what it is. I mean, I love that perspective. That's really what it is, because when you are having to take those moments of stepping back or resetting, you should, you know, come out of the flames, you know, different, right? So you should be evolving. So
Yes.
I love it. Maybe it's not coming back. It is truly, you should be evolving in those moments. Yep. Anybody else got anything on that one? I love that. Come on.
You said about our comeback from something.
Oh yeah, that's right. You didn't want to go yet. Come on.
I just don't want to go back because I've worked so hard. You know what I mean? I just worked so hard to not be affected. So I'll just speak to that. Keep the main thing the main thing. I think that Abby said maintaining is the name of the game. And I think the way you do that is you just keep the main thing the main thing. Don't get swayed. Because along your path, especially if you're on your path, there's going to be somebody that has not accomplished what we just said you should accomplish, which was don't get into somebody else's blessings. It's always going to be somebody trying to get into yours. And they're going to throw rocks and they're going to throw stones and they're going to try to trip you up. And they're what we all call haters, to be cliche. And the closer you get, or the deeper you get into your own calling and into your own gift, there's going to be multitudinal individuals there to trip you up for sport, just to prove to themselves that they can, and they have not evolved. So you have to be strong enough to carry the weight of your blessing. So you will always have to bounce back. You will always have to come back, because there will always be somebody there tripping you up, and you're going to have to own that you are big enough to move on from that each and every time it happens.
There's that owning your power again. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So let's talk. This is probably one of my last serious questions, all right? Because I want us to have some fun tonight in these last few moments. But let's talk about self-branding and self-promotion, right? It is okay as women to self-promote ourselves. I want to make sure I put that out there. I think we should do more of it all the time. And I love that there are constant conversations growing around that. And this is what is happening, right? This particular platform is helping women leaders and men, we'll let y'all take too, but helping women leaders be able to promote themselves, to really show and amplify themselves and be okay with it, right? And be absolutely okay with it. So as a leader, remaining cutting edge, sharp, ahead of the game, on top of the industry, or as some would say, remaining relevant, requires us to know how to brand or promote ourselves. How do people get to know you? Like, how do we know your work? How does a person learn that? How do you introduce yourself? How do you remain engaged? So the question is, how have you developed or maintained your brand to date? And we've answered a little bit of it, but this is more pointed. Come on, you got it.
I used to be extremely bashful, and I used to be extremely affected by haters. So I would not say the things that would self-promote. I got heavy into just doing what I did because I couldn't not do it. But I was not promoting myself because I did not want to seem boastful. I did not want to seem like I was bragging. So I've gotten in a bad habit of just doing and not saying what I'm doing. And I think that the age group that I come from, I'm just kind of stuck in that you don't want anybody to think that you have a big head or whatever. But I'm proving to myself daily and every month and every year, I'm proving to myself that I'm valid and I'm supposed to be where I am. And I think that that's another thing. There's people like me who just have to grow into being able to own your power. So with that, I speak to those people, you know, who are afraid to say what they are. Take the permission that has been given to you just now. You know, nobody's going to believe you if you don't believe you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Facts, all facts. People see the foe and they eat away at it so easily. Absolutely, absolutely. What about you, Abby or Angie?
Oh man, this is a tough one because and Tulani, if she's watching, who helped coordinate this, our chief of staff, she will tell you, Abby, you don't promote yourself enough. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to promote our company. I'm trying to promote Quartermain Media, you know. But I would say that how people often get to know me is through some of the work that I've done in the past. And I really am about giving back to all of the people and things that have helped me along the way. Whether that's speaking to anyone who, you know, invites me to a conversation, or, you know, when people reach out to me, I often will at least take a call. You know, I will schedule it. Now, it might take me, depending on what I'm working on, it might take me 2 weeks to get to you. But, you know, if someone reaches out to me on LinkedIn to have a conversation, or gets in touch with me, and however, even through a DM, if it's business and they want to know what's going on and they're not, you know, and they're seriously want help, I do open up myself and my network. I know what it feels like to be unemployed. So if someone comes to me and they're like, I need a job, I gotta figure out a job. I'm like, okay, shoot me a resume. There's so many people that have been like, hey, do this, and this on your resume. I've never served a day in HR, but I know that they only look at your resume for less than 15 seconds and they're looking for your summary of qualifications. Your education needs to be at the bottom and blah, 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 blah. I can give you tons of tips. So but it's because I've had like 100 jobs. That's why I think I'm a really good producer too. Right? I know a little bit about a lot. But I would say, you know, I remain open to people, but I am now being almost thrusted into opportunities to share more of myself, to be more vulnerable. And I appreciate people like you, Chris, to reach out and say, hey, Abby, I want to invite you to this. Will you come? And my answer is yes.
And I appreciate you saying yes. Thank you for the yes, absolutely. But you're so right. I love it. I love it. All right, who we got? Who we got? One more?
Right here, yeah. So I if your question is how do we like feeling weird about promoting yourself, I don't feel weird at all about promoting myself because I separate myself from the thing, from whether it's the music or something else that I'm building or working on. I see value in the thing. So for me, like with the music, I feel like the music that I create, the purpose is to provide a resource for people who don't necessarily want their music laced with profanity, who are looking for something a bit more laid back, who are looking for something that is addressing whether it's love or things that are going on in the world or whatever. So I feel like there's a value to that. And it's not really about me, it's about me giving something. If it's a project where, you know, with an artist that I manage, I believe in that and I think that has value. So I don't have any problem saying, hey, this is of value to you, will probably like this thing. Check this out, because I'm not saying, oh, I am so awesome. You know, I'm saying you might really get something from this. And if you feel like you do, go, get the value of this thing. So yeah, I don't have a problem with promoting. I use, you know, any avenue that I can get. I'm obviously, you know, I'm on IG a lot.
Go follow.
Yes, follow NG Music on IG. So I'm there a lot, and I connect with a lot of people. And my brand is very specific. There are things that I will say, things that I will not say, places that I will show up, places that I will not show up, things I will wear, things I will not wear. So it's very specific. And I am selling that because I think it is for the good of all.
Love it, love it.
I love that, Angie. I mean, really. And I also love what you touched on, but I want to just push it a little bit further because of women. It's a head to toe branding is what she's talking about too. Guys, I mean, I want to put that out there when she's mentioned what she wears, what she doesn't wear. There's something in that. It is definitely a head to toe branding. So love that you said that, Ann.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I never thought about, I mean, I love the tip because I never thought about how to separate myself. Like that's what you said, separating yourself from the thing. Like I've never thought about that strategic, and there I go with strategic again, that strategically thinking on how you can do that so that you can market and promote and not have any of those thoughts even begin to penetrate and rise to the top. So I love it. And then thank you for the technical head to toe branding. You all take that with you tonight. We got some tech talk as well. So we have done all of the, I'm gonna call them not so fun, but extremely insightful.
Fun.
I am so full. I mean, just really, really good information. And so now we're gonna play some games. All right. So I always love to play this or that. And we get to see the other sides of you outside of leadership and by playing this game. So I'll call out 2 words or phrases. And you tell us which one you connect to most. You can't think they're hard about it, okay? I want to put that out. That's the only rule. You cannot think they're hard about it.
Not overthink.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Overthinker number 1.
Yep, number 2. I'm number 2, okay. Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Thanksgiving.
Christmas.
I am a Christmas girl too. Thanksgiving is like the precursor to.
We couldn't tell, Chris. We couldn't tell. Nobody watching. No, Chris. We couldn't tell.
I'm Thanksgiving because it starts off the whole process. I'm Thanksgiving because it's like, okay, let's celebrate and chill out.
Right. It's official when Thanksgiving happens. So I appreciate you, Thanksgiving folks. You
gotta respect the opening act. Christmas is the headliner. But Thanksgiving is that quality opening act. It's like, good.
I love that. I love that.
Yes, great analogy.
So the next one is dressing or stuffing.
Dressing.
Yeah. What's the difference?
What
it's
you call it?
More of a cultural difference. Look, I was trying to see what my West Coast folks were gonna say versus Southern.
I told you I'm already down here now. So
help me.
So stuffing is it's really just a change of name. That's really like, there's certain cultures that say stuffing, and usually you'll hear Black folk, we say dressing.
Okay. I was like, oh, are there some different ingredients floating
like
around?
What do you usually call it though? What do you usually call it?
Okay. I think I call it stuffing.
Okay, so you can see we are sisters, y'all, but I don't know where we go. Because I say dressing. We got to talk about this later. Okay, we got to talk about.
Yeah, we do stuffing. I'm like,
yeah. All right. So next up, sweet potato or yams?
Yams.
Okay.
Oh, sweet potato.
Okay. And I'm neither. I don't really like it, but I always like to hear the battles that go back and forth about sweet potato versus yams. Yes. All right. This Christmas, the movie or National Lampoon's Family Vacation?
This Christmas.
It's Christmas.
This Christmas as an adult, National Lampoon's as a kid. Come on.
Look,
turn your back on your childhood like that. You know it was in there.
I love National Lampoon. I did. And this Christmas is, I will give you, it's a good one. It's a good one. All right.
And it came out on Thanksgiving, the year it came out.
Oh, it
Don't
did.
you ever forget about Thanksgiving.
I learned that tonight too. All right, last one. All right, this one is creating tables or pulling your seat to the table.
What?
Creating
Oh.
tables. Creating tables.
Creating tables.
Yeah.
Creating tables.
Creating tables.
So wait, was that philosophical or was that about Thanksgiving?
So no holiday relation at all.
I'm like, wait.
It is kind of, we did move back into the
Andy's trying to get a plate. Andy's trying to get a plate.
I did say we were done with that, but I wanted to ask that for this or that. You got to answer for us.
Okay, so wait, say it again. Put
Okay,
making your
so,
table or
yeah, creating the table or
creating the table, creating the table. Yeah.
Okay. I love it. I love it. All right. So focusing on the holidays, this time of year, we have a chance to explore our favorite things. What is your favorite thing to do this year? We want to know, what is the favorite thing you'd like to do this time of year or holiday tradition?
My daughter's birthday is New Year's Eve. So I love planning her birthday and separating it from Christmas so she can have both. And then this year she's going to be 13. So it's like,
Oh wow.
real cool.
Milestone. Yeah.
You gotta really turn.
I love hiding gifts.
Yeah.
I love hiding gifts from
Hiding.
people. Like they have no idea. I usually throw people off track. I'll be like, I don't know, it might be too expensive. And then it's like, surprise. So I love hiding gifts. I love the whole idea of wrapping. The whole thing. I love it.
So you still rap?
Oh yeah. I still rap. I know.
Yeah, it's a
so
tradition.
Girl.
I still rap. Yeah, I still rap.
Okay. I made this year do some rapping, but last year it was gift bag city. Like, where can I throw it?
I've done that too, though.
Throw it in the bag.
I've done that too.
What about you, Ange? What's your favorite holiday tradition or thing that you like to do this time of year?
You know, our traditions have changed a lot because we have no kids in the house anymore. So really, I think my favorite thing to do during the holidays is not have to be anywhere. It is like, yeah, just to unwind and chill with my guy when he's in town. Yeah, that is like, I'm so looking forward to that. You have no idea. Just, I have this visual of my feet up on some surface or another. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Love it, love it. Just relax.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't get to do that because the holidays are kind of hustle and bustle, right? But it really can be an opportunity for us to take rest. A lot of our jobs, they give us a few hours to ourselves, you know, so it's time to rest and be alone if we want to as well. So I love that tradition. I love it. I love it. Well, ladies,
that plus Bailey's in your coffee in the morning. It's just
any time of the day. Okay.
I only do it during the holidays too. I only do it during Christmas, but I call it my Christmas coffee. But yeah,
that's like that. Christmas coffee.
Okay, I see you. Okay.
Now we gotta try it. As a group in the morning, everybody text everybody and say, we did it.
I can do it. I can do that actually.
Nice.
That means I have it in the kitchen. I can do that.
I said, I'm ready. When I click leave, I'm gonna go do it right.
Exactly.
Yes.
So this is the last call. No pun behind, we were just talking about alcohol. But what are your lasting nuggets? Like, if you could just leave one thing with our audience, what is the one thing you want to leave that really should resonate? I'm stealing words tonight. Resonate with us as we walk away.
I would say look for ways to be a blessing to others. Look for whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it feels like you're called to do. How does that help other people? What does that do for others rather than, and in terms of yourself, you'll come up. But if you consider how that affects other people. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I got something. Take it with you, hold it in your pocket. Sometimes strength looks weak and sometimes weak looks strong.
Those are good. Those are good. All good. Love it.
And I guess I'll leave you with this. Love yourself. You are so beautiful. Stand in that mirror, remind yourself, try to do it daily. you are so more powerful than you even give yourself credit for.
Right.
But if you can tap into that love inside of you, it will come out to the rest of the world.
Absolutely, it will. Absolutely. I love that. Thank you, ladies. Last one. I know how to connect with y'all, but I would love for my audience to be able to connect or just support the different initiatives you have. Where can we find you? If whatever you want to share. And then what are some initiatives, if any, that we want to make sure that we're tuned in supporting? Because we want you all to be amplified beyond this moment.
You can find me on Instagram at Terran Noir. All of my socials are pretty much the same, TerranNoir. And I am not only a choreographer for the Grizzlies, I own a dance studio, Subroy Studios, where we have a very organic environment for non-traditional dance training. We speak to the natural talent. We just put that icing on that cake that God already baked. And executive director of Subroy Movement Foundation, which seeks to garner professional development for aspiring young paraprofessional dancers, as well as continue to serve the professional dance talent in the city so that we do not lose them to our bigger cities. We want Memphis and its legacy of music to have just as strong of a legacy with dance, and we want to get our dancers paid. So if you could support myself, Terran Noir, Subroy Studios 901, and subroymovement.org.
Love it.
I greatly appreciate it.
We got you. We got you. Who's
And
next?
I'll go. I'll go. One, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's a pleasure speaking with you, ladies. It's been great. I'm actually sad it's about to end. But again, personally, people can connect with me on LinkedIn, Abby Woods. And as far as our company, I would love for people to follow us on Instagram at A Tribe Called Quartermain. Yes, I love Tribe Called Quest, so that's where it comes from. And the Quartermains comes from all of the soap opera the wealthy soap opera family that was on all the ABC soaps. But that's a whole other jam. But please, quartermainmedia.com is our website. We're also on LinkedIn. But the thing to look forward to is more to come. I could go into detail, but the third issue of a magazine that I created during the pandemic called Cue the Culture is in development. And I would love for people to check it out. It's about Black influencers. And it's just a conversation piece about all of the things that maybe one day people will archive these hashtags and trends that are happening. Well, we're doing that with this magazine right now. So I hope that people will support, and the best is yet to come. The first issue had B. Scott on the cover. When I called him to call B. Scott to say, hey, will you be on the cover? They said, yes. Will you be my producer? The rest is history, but I hope people will support.
Awesome, awesome. Great work, great work. And last but not least, my heart, Angie.
Thank you so much for inviting me to do this. I have enjoyed this and meeting you ladies as well. And Christin, if you will do you have all the contact information in terms of how to keep up with these ladies? Because I would love to follow you guys on your platforms as well.
And it is in the comments now, so absolutely.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So you can find me on Instagram at ANNG Music, and I have a website, angiemusic.com. And pretty much everything that I do is linked to those pages. I have a new IG show. It's a talent show. And we run that on Mondays, and we have a game night edition on Fridays. It's so much fun. So feel free to tap in on that. That's through IG Live. But yeah, those are my contacts, and I hope to see you guys there. And I'll definitely follow you ladies.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for rounding us out. And finally, thank you again to the panelists. Like, there is no session, there is no Women Leaders Walk the Talk without you all saying yes and just taking time out of your busy schedules to sit and talk with me and my audience, and really just to uplift us as we all, again, try to reciprocate that and uplift you all as well. To our audience, thank you for joining us. You could have been doing anything. You were probably trying to cook dinner, or maybe you're headed in traffic somewhere, or getting ready to start a game in just moments. Whatever it is, thank you for joining us, because you could have been doing anything. To my the Grady leadership team, those that are working in the background, thank you so much. And anyone who has ever supported my efforts or the efforts of the Grady Leadership Series, or plan on doing so, right? Maybe you hadn't done it yet. Tonight you were wild, and I know tomorrow you will be supporting us, right? So our success is met with you traveling this journey with us. So a few last things. If this is your first time with us tonight, or you need to catch a replay, visit the website or go to YouTube. The website is www.thegreateryouleadership.com. Our top selling workshop is currently open for registration. It's called Confidence in Reach. It is a 3-session workshop on confidence, and it will help not only just leaders be more effective leaders, but just individuals being more confident and being able to more effectively get to their success. And so that is out on the website for you to register to. And then lastly, we feel that our reach is growing slowly but surely, and our community is growing, and we want to include you. So we have started the online community for Women Leaders Walk the Talk on Facebook, and we would love for you to join us. If you are my friend, you will see an invite tonight. I would love it if you would press okay. I appreciate it. I love you for that. And we have open forums, planned events, more panels, inside tips, and we simply hope to create a platform that's inclusive of, again, aspiring, established, and seasoned women leaders from all backgrounds. So we hope you'll join us on that endeavor. Be sure to follow us on all social media. We are at The Grady Leadership. And if all hearts and minds are clear, as always, let's lead. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.